What's going on, guys? Justin over here at Justin's Customs. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to paint textured plastic pieces. These are bed rail covers on my buddy's 2019 Ram 1500. Super sweet truck. We're going to be color matching these white for him, PW7. What I do with this and usually other plastic pieces like mirrors, like plastic grills, pieces like that, I usually start with 320 grit, and then I go back over it with 600, then I red scuff pad it. And then, that's it for the prep work. We're going to get the DA out. We're going to get 320 on it, hit both pieces until all the texture is gone. Then I'll go back over them completely again with 600 to take out the 320 grit scratches. And then I have a nice smooth finish for the primer sealer to go on. So we're going to get the DA out with some 320 and we're going to sand it smooth. So let's do it. All right, guys, so as you can see with sanding with the 320 grit, you can see the dots aren't there after sanding. You can see where the dots start and then where they start to smooth out. We're gonna sand all this until all those dots are nice and smooth, or 99% of the way. Now the primer sealer will cover up some of that, so it doesn't have to be completely smoothed out like that, but it will provide for a better finish if you do smooth everything out. So we're gonna get these all smoothed out and get them underway. All right, guys, well, these things are ready to rock and roll. They're nice and smoothed out. I ran over them with 320 and 600 as explained, and I went over them with a scuff pad real quick. They're nice and smooth. You can still see some of the textured dots here and there, but the actual surface itself is smooth. So if you do still see some of that textured finish a little bit, it's okay, as long as it feels smooth. Right there you can see there's still some dots going on in there, but the actual surface itself is smooth. And that is okay because the primer sealer will take care of all of that. It'll give it a nice smooth surface to lay the base coat down on. But we'll get into that here in a minute. The only thing we gotta do now is transport these to the location I am painting them and wipe them down and spray them. So let's get these things transported and painted up. All right, guys, what's the next day here? As you see, you got all the pieces laid out. These are some extra caps for some power steps on this truck. You also want paint match too. These are also textured plastic. Got those all sanded away. Nice and smooth. So here's all the stuff I'm using to paint. First and foremost, when you paint anything plastic, you have to start with adhesion promoter for plastic. Duplicolor cells, you can get this from local automotive stores like Owlzone, O'Reilly's. They also sell it in Rust-Oleum as well. So if you can't find this, Rust-Oleum makes a good adhesion promoter as well. Next, we're gonna be doing primer sealer. That's just gonna give everything a nice smooth surface for the base coat to lay down on. Here we got the paint, PW7 with the reducer, mixes 1-to-1, and then the clear. So you only need one coat of each of these. So one coat of the adhesion promoter, one good coat of the primer sealer. I probably do 3-4 coats of the white and then 2 coats of clear. Down here, I got my paint guns, got my base coat gun and my clear gun, and always in your respirator so you're not breathing in all that crap and get cancer down the road. So I probably breathe in enough, that don't even matter to me anymore. But anywho, I'm gonna wear it anyways because, you know, it's good for you. So gotta wipe these down with some wax and grease remover, get all the dust and particles off of there, tack them off, and we'll spray. All right, guys, we are all wiped down and tack clothed off. Now we're gonna go ahead and do a coat of this adhesion promoter. Always do a couple of spray outs before you spray. Just make sure the tip's good, everything's working. And you just want to do a nice, just one decently wet coat on it. You don't have to go crazy. Make sure you hit all your edges good. And then it'll look like that. It'll look kind of dark. All right, so that stuff dries pretty quick. Right after that, we're gonna go ahead and go to primer sealer. Same thing, you wanna make sure you get a nice spray, and then you can start doing it. With this stuff, you can put on a smidge heavier, because it is kind of thicker. Get a nice smooth surface like that. Don't hammer it on, just a nice semi-wet coat. So you can go a smidge heavier with this because it is a primer, so it's a little thicker, so it doesn't run as easy. All right, guys, so I just got my paint mixed up here. Now, if you're using regular paint, automotive paint like I'm doing, you mix it 1-to-1. Some other paints you mix 2-to-1, but with the stuff I'm using from API, the brand is Omni, it is going to be 1-to-1. So I was at 7 ounces down here, and you're just gonna double it. You're gonna go to the 14. Now, this whole process, even though I'm doing professional paint, it all still works with spray paint too. So let's say you were spray painting, you can just have your can of gloss white, and then you can have a can of clear gloss spray paint, and you would do the same exact thing. So we'll come in here and check out how the sealer looks. The sealer's looking good. You don't have to let this dry completely. Typically you do want it still to be not all the way cured. Now if it is, it's not gonna hurt anything, but sealer is a bond for the base coat, so it doesn't have to be super dry. Like a little wet is okay. So we're gonna pour this paint in the gun, and we're gonna get to spraying. Same thing like with that heater promoter, just light wet coats. You don't want to hammer it on, it's not gonna be covered in the first coat. I mean, typically you're gonna have 3 to 4 coats of paint on whatever you're doing, so if it's not completely covered in the first coat, do not panic. Just do 2 or 3 more coats and then you should be good. But just light wet coats, and then keep going until she's covered, and then you're gonna be ready for clear. So let's put some white on these things. All right, guys, so we just finished up the base coat here. Got 3 coats of white on everything. It's looking real good. As you see, it's not super shiny. That's where the clear coat's gonna come in. The clear coat gives it the shine. So when you're putting down your base coat or your color, for automotive paint, I'll get to spray paint here in a second. When you're doing your regular automotive paint, you do not want it to have a super glossy finish. You can see it's got like a subtle shine to it, but it's not super reflective and glossy. Now for spray paint, it's a little different, because if you're doing a gloss white, obviously it's gonna be shiny right off the bat, but you just wanna do light wet coats with the color. You don't wanna hammer it on the first coat. Like I said, it will not be covered in the first coat, but this is what you're gonna be looking for, about 3-4 coats of color on whatever you're doing. But sorry for the loud noise, this thing's sucking in the air, so it's kinda hard to talk and do this all at once, but we're gonna mix up some clear and get to it. So time to make these things shiny. Talk a little bit while I'm mixing my clear coat here. So whenever you're doing clear, it usually says what mixing ratio to do it at, but for what I'm using right here, Omni, it's gonna be 4-to-1. Now clear's a little different. You don't want to go crazy with it, but you wanna give it enough so it has a gloss shine to it. So the first coat, once again, you're not gonna hammer it on, but you wanna go until it's shiny. The first coat, usually you want to go a little bit lighter. That's called your tack coat. That gives the next coat a good base to stick to and really adhere. So the first coat you want to do, once again, a semi-wet coat. I know I sound like a broken record saying that, but it's better to go a little lighter than a little heavy, because you can go back over it with the next coat of clear versus sanding all the runs out and stuff. So the very first coat, you want to go a little lighter, but you still want it to be heavy enough for it to have a little bit of gloss to it. Now the very first coat might have like some little like dots here and there if it's a little lighter, because that's your tack coat. But the next coat you can put on a little heavier, and that'll take all that away. So first coat, go a smidge lighter, but then the second coat you can lay it down a little heavier. So I'm gonna finish mixing this clear up, we'll go spray it. All right, guys, well, that's it for me here today. We're gonna leave this stuff sit for a couple of days. I'll come back into work on Monday. I'll take this stuff home, and then I'll actually take these to my buddy Kyle's house, and we'll help him put them on the truck, and you guys can see the finished product on there. So that's it for spraying. We'll see you guys when we see the truck. All right, guys, here's my buddy's truck that I painted the bed rail covers for. My buddy Kyle's truck. Just got a lot of this stuff done. Name of the truck's Albino 57 now. Got some KG1 forged on there. I previously painted these taillights as well. Color matched the taillights. Painted the front bumper, third brake light. I can't get too close because there's a rail right here, but there you can see the color matched bed rail covers I just painted. Come out really good. Obviously the top cover kind of covers some of that, but looks much better than being black. Nice and smoothed out. Also painted these vent shades for them a while ago too. But super sweet truck. But we are at the Piston Power Show here in Cleveland, Ohio. We're gonna do a little bit more walking around, but thank you guys for watching the YouTube video on me painting these texture plastic pieces. Be sure to like and comment and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching Hager's Acres. I'll see you guys later.